One question that I get so often is, do all twin flames always end up together in this lifetime? That's the question that I am going to address in this video in my series called Twin Flame Questions Answered. Hi, my name is Michelle Fondin. I'm the author of 12 published books, including Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love, and Twin Flame Union, the 7 keys to a healthy twin flame journey. You can find all of my published books on Amazon and 10 of my published books on Ingram Spark. The links are in the info box below. If you're new to this channel, I want to welcome you here. Thank you for subscribing. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Hey, I just packaged my Twin Flame boot camps into a singular package. So you can check that out at the link below. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's Bootcamp 1, Bootcamp 2, and Elevate Your Twin Flame Vibration. And those are all bundled now, so for one low price. So you can check that out at the link below. They are on-demand classes. So here we are. Here we are talking about twin flames on this channel again. As some of you know, I've taken a pivot into self-empowerment, unconditional self-love, which is really what my new book, the one that's out coming May 20th, is all about. Love Me Unconditionally, a spiritual guide to self-love and inner peace. Hey, I added a little bit to that subtitle. We're still working on it. So yes, I'm talking about twin flames because this week in particular, if you are viewing this, the week of March 9th of 2026, this week we were talking about free will in my Michelle Fondin author vlog. Now, I've been wanting to talk about twin flames and free will for a long time. It's something that I do in my one-on-one coaching sessions. When I get this question, do twin flames always end up together in union in this lifetime, physical union in this lifetime? So let's address this, because I think for a lot of twin flames, this is the major question in their minds, especially if you've been stuck on the twin flame journey, if you've been in it for years, if you haven't seen any movement or changes in your twin flame connection, if you've pretty much given up on your twin flame divine counterpart, or if you were one of the ones that did all the work and you're like, where's my twin flame now? This video is for you. And we're going to talk about this. And this is based on the information that I received through angelic messages, through my coaching sessions with clients. And here we go. Twin flames are real. I know some of you may have lost faith in the twin flame journey. You may have lost faith in your twin flame connection, but I'm here to tell you that this experience that you are having is absolutely positively real. It's real, it's happening. All the signs and synchronicities that you have been experiencing, they're not all in your head. They are real. With that said, the twin flame journey is often very misunderstood. A lot of twin flame YouTubers and coaches speak about the twin flame connection being something very linear. Like if you do A and then B and then C and then D, you'll have your outcome. And that is absolutely positively not the way it works. I speak a lot about this in my earlier videos from 2019. I would say check out those playlists that go back to 2019, because there was some really good stuff in there about the uniqueness of twin flames. Twin flames are like snowflakes. They're very individual. So since this twin flame connection is something that seeks you out rather than vice versa, it's true for you. It's undeniable for you. The connection is intense for you, but it's not a linear relationship. It's not something happening on one dimension. It is multi-dimensional. So because it's multidimensional, you are experiencing a lot, not only in the 3D physical world, but you are experiencing some time warping of weird things that start to happen that filter into the 5D, like telepathic communications, feeling your twin flame, even though they're not there, having 5D spiritual communications, remembering past lives with your twin flame, things like that. So a lot of times people don't understand that the reason we meet our twin flame first and foremost is to trigger a major spiritual awakening. So we may have been asleep, we may have had some spiritual awakenings, as was in my case, but this one is the big kahuna. This one is like the major spiritual awakening, and it begins to trigger the wounds within you. And even being face to face with your twin flame, you have crazy wounds that are triggered and things that come up. That is really the main reason that this starts. So a lot of people are like, oh no, it's about the romantic connection. Yes, and it's like a yes, and it's about you becoming more fully who you are and getting connected to your higher spiritual self, your source, getting connected to the source of unconditional love. That's what this is about. I always say this in almost every single video. I say this in my books, that romantic, physical 3D union is icing on the cake. It is the frosting on the cake. It is not the cake. Sometimes if you eat a lot of frosting, you get really sick, but you need the holistic piece of cake in order to not feel sick. You need the whole thing. You can't just take the frosting and leave. I mean, you could. Sometimes I do that. But the romantic connection is the frosting on the cake. It's the icing on the cake. It is not the entire cake. So we need to understand that first and foremost. The other misconception that can keep you really stuck, and I don't like this, and I've really never preached this. Maybe in the beginning, I really emphasized the fact that your twin flame is in your life for a reason and they are meant for you, which I still believe. Only I didn't have the vision of how exactly your twin flame might be meant for you on various levels. So I'm here to tell you that your twin flame is there for you, whether spiritually or physically. They're there for you on multiple levels, not just a singular level. And so the misconception in twin flame communities is often my twin flame is my only pathway to happiness and fulfillment as far as human relationships go. And then you get stuck for years, for decades even, being in this pattern, this holding pattern where you feel like you can't date other people. You feel like you can't move forward. You feel like you can't get into a really loving relationship with somebody else because your twin flame is clearly not ready for you at that moment, because you're in this sense of, I need to be with my twin flame. That's what God intended. I wouldn't have met them otherwise. And then they forget about all the other reasons why your twin flame came into your life. And the fact that yes, your souls are looking out for each other all the time, even when you're in separation. And that is another reason that your twin flame comes to you. So this sense of like, they are my only way to happiness, or they are my only way to romantic fulfillment, is a misconception. And I'm going to explain why in just a minute. The reason this misconception about staying stuck, or that romance is the only outcome you could possibly have in this lifetime, or that your twin flame is the only possible choice for romantic love and connection, is that it overlooks the fact that your twin flame and you have free will. What does this mean? It means you have a destined soul pattern. You have soul contracts you need to fulfill with your twin flame, certainly, right? You have soul agreements that you need to talk through or not talk through, right? Just depending on where you're at on your twin flame journey and where your twin flame is at on the journey as well. So you have these soul contracts, these soul agreements. You have a purpose for which you came here together in this lifetime, but you were also gifted with free will. Your soul contracts do not override your free will. Your twin flame has free will to do the work or to not do the work. They have free will to choose you as the human form of who you are, or not to choose you as the human form of who you are. They have free will to be in a relationship with you or be in a relationship with someone else. They have free will to look at their inner childhood wounds or to not look at their inner child. You get where I'm going with this, right? You get where I'm going. So since they have free will, you cannot force them. You cannot coerce them. You cannot convince them. You cannot manipulate them. You cannot pray enough for them that they'll change. The thing is that they are free souls the way you are a free soul, soul contract or not. You incarnated into two separate bodies in order to fulfill certain things in this life. And no one, not even God, can take away your free will or your twin flame's free will. So that is why people sometimes get, especially divine feminines, sorry, divine feminines, but I'm a divine feminine. I tried in every way, shape, or form to get my twin flame to realize that he needed to do certain things, that we needed to be together. And it didn't work, obviously, because he has free will. So usually divine feminines are doing all sorts of things to try to manipulate, control, coerce, convince, educate their twin flame into understanding the connection and drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. So there's nothing you can do in that sense, right? In the sense that you can't try to override your twin flame's free will. When they're ready, they're ready. When they make the choice, they make the choice. When they're ready to see their inner wounding, they're ready to see it. When they're ready to see your connection as a soul connection, then they're ready to see it. But it's not about you trying to convince them or get them to understand. The coaching myth in this, and this is not through my coaching, but through other coaches, is that if you align, if you as a divine feminine align, then they will automatically come like a magnet. That's the way a lot of people do explain it, that if you do all of your work, divine feminine, if you do all your work, then they will come lickety-split. They will come like that. Or if you move back into your energy and withdraw the energy from your twin flame, that yes, they will come forward to you. Sometimes this works, but it's usually temporary. Like sometimes this does work as an energetic shift, but it's usually temporary. And one thing that I would like to say to you, twin flame, is that do you really want your twin flame to come to you unhealed? Like, if you're doing these little energetic games with them, if you're really playing in the energetic field and trying to move around the yin yang of things, because it's, again, a manipulation, to be frank. But if you're really trying to do that and you think like, oh, this will get my person back, the problem with that is, do you really want someone who's unhealed? If they really haven't looked at their stuff, if they haven't looked at the connection as being a soul connection first and foremost, if they're in denial that this is even a connection at all, then you energetically bringing them in when they're not ready, it doesn't mean that it's going to be all happy. It means that it's not going to last. It might be very temporary, but it won't last. So yes, let me say this though, your personal growth can shift the energy between you and your twin flame, but it can't force them to make different choices. It can't force them to also want to heal. They have to want to heal. They have to want to ascend spiritually. They have to want to take a look at the things they came into this life with that they agreed to overcome as obstacles, for example. So yes, and I always believe that you should do your healing for you personally. So if you're doing it for your personal growth path and your journey to unconditional love for yourself, you're really doing it for both souls, right? You're doing it for both souls, even if your 3D person, your twin flame person, does not recognize it in this lifetime. It's okay, because you're not doing it to try to control them, manipulate them, get them to change, but you're doing it for you, and you're doing it for the souls, and you're doing it because you feel that it's liberating to you. That's the reason to be doing it. So in my experience with coaching twin flames, and I've been coaching twin flames since 2019, yes, a long time so far. And my experience is that usually it's one twin flame who is willing to do all the work, and the other twin flame is laying kind of dormant. In other words, they're just living their lives, not really recognizing that there is work to be done. That's pretty typical. However, I have seen twin flames unite in my coaching practice. I've had several twin flames reunite. Now, here's the sticky wicket. Since twin flames that I coach, when they come into union, physical union with their twin flame, whether they're moving in together, they're getting married, they're living happily ever after, if you will, the problem is they stop seeing me, obviously, once they're with their twin flame. So I haven't been able to see the long-term effects of it. So I don't really know, but I do know that twin flames do unite. So you might be wondering, well, what does this mean for me if I'm in the first instance where I'm doing all the work? I have been studying my self-healing. I've been working on self-love. I've been working on my relationship wounds. I have really been doing a lot of the personal work. So where does that leave me? Right? You might be wondering that, like, where does that leave me in all this? Well, since you also have free will, and if you clearly see that your twin flame is not changing, it could mean that you're needing to wait for a next lifetime to have that physical reunion with your twin flame. Now, it's not because anything that you did to make it wrong, absolutely not. But it's really important that you use your free will to choose your own joy, your happiness, your fulfillment, choosing unconditional love for yourself first and foremost, which means not blocking love from yourself, not blocking a connection from yourself, but allowing yourself to live life to the fullest, even if it's not with your twin flame for the time being. And don't worry, if your soul deems that there's something in the soul contract that needs to be revisited, rest assured you will show up in a next lifetime with your twin flame to finish out that soul contract. But that said, I always say to people, you know what? You don't know what the outcome will be because you're still alive, right? As long as you're still living and breathing, you're still here. The soul contract with your twin flame is still alive, which means that it could really happen at any time. The problem that I see most often is that twin flames stay in a holding pattern rather than living their lives to the fullest. I would encourage you to use your free will choices to not stay stuck and to be able to move forward with your life, especially if you've been moving through the personal work. Now, some twin flames come to me, and I know this happened with me too in the past. Some twin flames come to me and even comment in the videos when I say something like this, and they say, well, I've actually tried to date other people, and for some reason it disintegrates, the person disappears. It just never seems to work out. Well, there are so many different explanations for that that may have nothing to do with your twin flame, right? So the twin flame explanation might be is that the point and purpose of your twin flame coming into your life to help you to elevate your soul and to heal the wounds that you have had in this lifetime and perhaps previous lifetimes that you haven't really done the work completely. And so maybe the energy of that contract is just holding you back so you can finish doing that work. That could be one reason. But the other reasons could just be that maybe that person that you tried to date was not spiritually aligned with you. So you may have met them through your own efforts, right? Like making an effort, like going on a dating app, going to speed dating, whatever. So you did something through your own efforting, but then it didn't work out because you weren't energetically aligned. Okay, so there's a multitude of reasons, right? Why dating doesn't work out for some people. And that just means that you haven't met the right person for you outside of your twin flame. So I would say if you really feel ready, don't give up based on the fact that it didn't work in the past. And if you've been ignoring your spiritual work, your inner child work, your self-love work, then yes, I always encourage people to do that first, right? That's something that's very easy to ignore and to just focus on the next relationship or the next dating situationship. And that's just an escapism when you've been presented with this opportunity to take a look at your stuff and to be able to heal it once and for all. And, we are always in the process of becoming, so there will always be other things that come up. But if you have been not wanting to take a look at it because you've been ultra focused on your twin flame as the person that they are, and like, when am I going to get them back? When are we going to unite? We need to be together. If you have been focusing on that rather than doing your own work, then I want to encourage you to take a look at that and really start moving into that self-love pattern that's going to get you to heal yourself inside first. And of course, my twin flame boot camps take you through this. I have these love and alignment clarity tarot sessions that are special for spring. It's a one-on-one session with me, and you can also elect to do that. I want to thank you so much for joining me here for Twin Flame Questions Answered. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not yet subscribed, put a comment in the comment sections below. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Thank you for your support of my work. You can buy 1 or 2 of my published books. You can go to my website and see what I offer there. And I will see you in the next video.